SpaceX has revealed a rare look into Starfactory. What can we learn from it? How far is Block 3 from launch readiness? Welcome to Pad 1 OLM continues. Can we expect to see the final Block 2 launch this month? And will SpaceX land Starships on Mars on engines instead of legs? New launch providers take their first steps into the market. We take a look at Europe, China, and Canada. My name is Felix, welcome to What About It. Let's dive right in. Starship updates. It's been 1 week since Flight 10 and yet the excitement is still surreal. I don't know about you, but I am still buzzed by what happened. The flight wasn't just a tremendous success, it also brought an incredible amount of new information about what will happen next and in the midterm future of SpaceX's Starship. Where should we even start? Starfactory? More Starfactory? Production? Mars? There is so much that it was challenging to condense it all into one video. We have to start somewhere though, so why not inside SpaceX's Starfactory? Follow me. On the 24th, Elon Musk posted a video that provided an unprecedented view of what's inside this well-maintained place. But what does this video show? Just a bunch of steel? Not quite. This video alone tells a whole story of how production is going for Starship. Shout out to our friends at Starbase Tracking, who wasted no time and immediately collaborated on this video with us. So what do we see? That's a lot of stainless steel. We can see various types of barrels. That's what Starbase crews call different parts consisting of several stainless steel rings that are already welded together. From ship nose cones to new generation booster forward sections and even new generation ship engine sections. Take a moment and guess how many unique ships these parts belong to. Got a number? After a detailed analysis of this video, we can see nose cones in production for ships up to Ship 49, Ship 39, Ship 40, Ship 41, Ship 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, and 49. 11 ships are in production simultaneously. Alongside all these nose cones is an abundance of barrels with no clear identifiers except for a few, like a booster forward section and 2 nose cones behind it. As if this Elon video wasn't enough, SpaceX showed some more Starfactory footage during the Flight 10 livestream. Did you miss it? We sure didn't. This footage was dated back to July, so we won't go over it in full detail, but here are the main details we saw. The nose cone assembly area, which houses many nose cones at a time, is in full swing of production. Expect a significantly higher production cadence with Block 3 than what we've seen so far with Block 2. The new generation ship's aft barrels feature new and improved vents. Block 3 will bring a multitude of changes at once. Thermal protection system pins. These are the components to which the pins actually clip and how they secure them to the vehicle. A new and improved integrated hot staging ring is being assembled. Block 3 will feature a complete redesign for this part of the rocket. From an improvised hot stage ring to a full strut-based assembly which will reduce stress on the booster and the ship during hot staging. The reason why SpaceX first introduced a quick fix instead of what we'll see on Block 3 is that hot staging was born out of the need to fix stage separation quickly. On the first flight, it was a normal cold staging process. All engines cut off, separation occurs, and engines get reignited. Then SpaceX discovered that a significant amount of inertia is lost if the engines cut off for too long during a cold staging. Consequently, SpaceX engineers quickly made adjustments between flights to address this issue. Now the booster never shuts down all engines, while the ship ignites its engines before the separation. Hot staging was a hotfix. Going back to Elon's view of Starfactory, we can see lots of barrels that cannot be identified. Or can we identify them? It is difficult, but there are indicators. Let's make you an expert. Up first, we have a booster forward barrel. The triple ring count, grid fin cutouts, and associated vent cutouts can identify this barrel. Next, we have 3 internally stringered barrels. One of these can be confirmed as a booster liquid oxygen barrel section due to it having a raceway mount on both sides. The other 2 can be speculated to also be liquid oxygen barrels, but cannot be confirmed due to the limited view. Wink wink SpaceX, we would love a tour. Behind these barrels are even more barrels, but they are too early in production. No stringers, cutouts, or raceway mounts are visible, no chance of identification. And last but certainly not least, we have a grid fin. We covered this grid fin in a previous episode, let's go over it super quick. SpaceX is planning to eliminate the need for booster catch pins. These catch pins are now being built into the grid fins. Yes, that means we will finally get grid fin catches. New ships. On the early morning of the 25th, a triple ring barrel section was moved to Mega Bay 2. This barrel was lifted onto a turntable. Just hours before Flight 10 launched, another barrel was rolled into Mega Bay 2 covered in forward stringers. On the 27th, it was also lifted to the turntable, creating a current 6-ring tall article. That's short, right? Nope. It's actually 10.97 meters tall, and we still expect it to get taller. That is as tall as an average telephone pole, to give you a feel for the size. But where will this test article go? With previous test articles, they've been placed into the can crusher at Massey's for structural tests. This is always needed when significant changes are introduced to the thrust structure of a ship or booster. More action coming up at Massey's soon. Due to this likely being a new ship test article, we can safely assume it will go to Massey's. In short, only this small insight into Starbase gave us a massive overview of what's to come. New test articles for Massey's and at least 11 ships in production at the same time. 2026 will be packed with launches. SpaceX also revealed many details about its future colonization plans. Ever wanted to go to Mars? You're in luck, it is getting closer by the day. During the Flight 10 stream, Elon Musk, joined by Bill Riley, the vice president of Starship engineering, talked about Mars. Flight 11 is going to Mars. Okay, I was just kidding. During this talk, Bill Riley stated that ships will land on Mars with landing legs. Close enough? Welcome back SN15. But will these little stumpy legs do? Will they need to retest landing legs? That's a great question. We don't know yet. They may test as they fly, or maybe even bring back suborbital ship hops. Although bringing back the suborbital hop campaign is unlikely, it is not truly impossible. Adding legs to normal payload delivering flights just for tests might not make sense. Mars landing legs would likely be much larger than the test legs we saw during the high-altitude flight tests years ago. Using the same approach as they did on Falcon 9 might not work either. After all, an Earth-based Starship is supposed to be caught and not landed on legs. So if those small legs won't do, what will they need to look like? How will they avoid the Martian rocks? Let's take an Apollo lunar lander as an example. They were used during the Apollo era and brought us the famous quote,
"It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind."
Constructing similar legs for Mars will result in a much heavier build. Mars's gravity, even though it is not as high as here on Earth, combined with the weight of a Starship, will likely result in a wide stance approach and a sturdy construction. SpaceX has given us some insight into what their lunar Starship will look like. 4 sturdy legs with a wide stance. A lot of added weight for an upper stage on a regular Starlink deployment flight. Bottom line, we don't know, but at least they are not landing on the skirt. Or so we thought. During the Flight 10 stream, SpaceX revealed something else.
They're just going to put minimally viable landers on the surface, land right on the skirt, no legs.
The first Starship landing attempts on Mars will land on their skirt. This just sounds like a recipe for an explosion, but it is good enough for a first test. Time is the real telling factor for how SpaceX will truly go about this. I can already see the headlines. Musk's Mars rocket explodes on the surface in a gigantic failure. The fact that SpaceX will have just delivered a 150-ton test article to the surface of another planet, and that this accounts for roughly 30 times the weight ever delivered to Mars combined until then, will likely count little in the hunt for the most aggressive headline. Just keep watching Why until they understand. They plan to send the first ships to the Red Planet next year, tentatively. For that, everything needs to go according to plan, which it almost never does. Still, I cannot wait for this. Just as if we were not spoiled enough, Elon posted even more pictures. Starting under the OLM right before Flight 10. An amazing view of Super Heavy Booster 16's 33 Raptor engines. We have to enjoy this view while we can, because the new generation of booster aft is changing and will not feature this engine shielding. Also, Elon will have a much harder time just walking under it on the new pad. So could the view be better, or will it look more cluttered? Pictures from Starship Gazer show this new generation aft section. It looks really good, so hopefully the picture will look just as good, if not better, when all 33 engines are installed. But SpaceX just kept on going. On the 28th, Elon posted images of a ship in the water. Unfortunately, this is not Ship 37. This is the Flight 6 Ship 31. How do we know this? Without delving too deeply into the evaluation of ships, several factors suggest that this is likely Ship 31. The tiles, the raceways, and most obviously the aft not having a hole in it. Still absolutely fascinating. Before we continue with Starship, here is something you can do to help ensure that we can keep reporting these things. Hit the subscribe button to stay informed. Like this video if it brought you value and become a wise supporter for extra content. Secure your access to up to 7 picture galleries per week, satellite, helicopter and ground photos and 3D animations, chat with me and gain more insights on the topic you love. SpaceX released mesmerizing videos of the landing in the Indian Ocean. Musk gave us a very valuable insight into the condition of Ship 37's heat shield after the flight. He stated that almost all tiles stayed attached. Contrary to what we speculated in our launch analysis video, he also clarified that the red discoloration on the ship was caused by metallic test tiles on the nose cone that had oxidized during re-entry. The white color on the tip of the nose cone is due to insulation in areas where tiles had been deliberately removed. This footage will go straight into the history books of spaceflight. Absolutely stunning stuff. Flight 11 preparations are already underway, but let's start with Booster 15. Yup. Are we going to see the second booster after Booster 14 to get another flight? Booster 15 currently sits inside Mega Bay 1, where it is receiving pre-static fire checkouts. While views inside this bay are limited due to where our livestream camera is located, our photographer Robert Opel got us a view. We cannot see much here, but we can assure you work is still happening. Booster 15 may fly again. Now for Ship 38. It currently sits in Mega Bay 2. Just like its partner, Booster 15, Ship 38 is also receiving pre-static fire preparations. On the 25th, Ship 38 received its first aft flap, followed 2 days later by the second. This now means Ship 38 has all 4 flaps and all 6 engines. Yes, static fire next, but is the launch site ready? Almost. As soon as the road was open after Flight 10, crews rushed back to the pad and got right to it. After every launch, the orbital or non-orbital launch mount has to be refurbished before any testing can occur. We expect this refurbishment work to last a little while longer before one of the vehicles rolls out for a static fire. Both vehicles should be static fired and flight ready within approximately 3 to 4 weeks. Then hopefully we have another flight, the last Block 2 flight ever. While the month of September is now less likely for a launch, it is still not entirely impossible. At the latest, we can expect to see it in early October. And I have something else you might find interesting. This is part 2 of my most personal sponsorship ever. What's up with my hair? You might remember my episode from March 25th, one day after my birthday this year. I talked about having traveled to Turkey and that I came back with a strange band around my head. I was sponsored by Hair. I received a hair transplant. The deal? Get the transplant and then talk about it. No rules, no limits, just say how it was. Okay, challenge accepted. Back then I was still in the healing process and I told you that I'd report about this again after it's been half a year. The transplant was done in February. Highly skilled Hair employees took hair from the back and the sides of my head and put it on top. The reason? I really didn't want to become bald. This sponsorship has generated a vast and never-ending barrage of comments over the past 6 months. You asked for it. You've definitely noticed. Shucks. In short, it couldn't have gone better. The hair is getting thicker and thicker, the baldness almost gone already, and the growth phase will go on for another full 6 months from here. Satisfaction? Through the sunroof. That's really all there is. So if you're looking at the man in the mirror and you want him to have more hair, this is what you've been looking for. Forget the magic pills. Travel to Turkey and enjoy Hair's all-inclusive service, which includes everything from plane tickets to shuttle services, hotels, treatments, and your return plane ride. Hair organizes everything. You just need to go. That's all. That hair isn't coming back on its own. If you are unhappy, step out that door and get it fixed. Now, if you're interested, click the info card or the link in the description to book your appointment for a completely free hair analysis. I've tested it. This works, it is permanent, and it will change your life as it did mine. I'll report again in another full 6 months from here. Thank you, Heuer, for doing this with me. ESA has secured contracts for 5 missions under its flight ticket initiative with Avio and ESA Aerospace to test European space technologies and address challenges related to space debris. With mega constellations on the rise not just from SpaceX, this is a growingly pressing topic. The Flight Ticket Initiative is a collaboration between the European Space Agency and the European Commission aimed at enabling European companies and institutions to test and validate new products and applications in space. It encourages the use of new European launches. 3 of these missions will be performed by Avio's Vega C rocket. The first mission demonstrates a future space debris solution. Spanish company Percy will operate its ET-PAC mission to demonstrate a solution for deorbiting satellites using a kilometer-long aluminum tape that will be extended from the satellite. The system utilizes electromagnetic forces to generate drag without the need for fuel, offering a promising solution to mitigate space debris. Basically, a very strange anchor. A second Vega C mission focuses on compact satellite technology with the Pluto Plus CubeSat by the German Aerospace Center, DLR. It will demonstrate a high-performance yet compact avionics system. The third mission for Avio's rocket centers on climate monitoring. It will deliver a second satellite for an Earth observation constellation developed by French company Grasp. Germany's ESA Aerospace will launch 2 satellites by infinite orbits on its first of the 2 missions. One satellite will simulate space debris while the other approaches and holds position nearby, demonstrating future debris removal capabilities. In a second mission, ESA Aerospace provides its launch service to the Dutch company ISIS Space. The company will manage the integration and in-orbit operation of 3 CubeSats flying on ISAR's Spectrum rocket, allowing a multitude of experiment providers to test and validate their technologies in space. From Europe, we head over to Canada to have a look at their up-and-coming launch provider, NordSpace. What started as a venture with high hopes ended in a scrub. NordSpace, Canada's future commercial launch provider, ended its 6-day launch campaign last Friday. I said it before and I'll say it again, space is hard, especially for a newcomer. The goal of this campaign was to make history. NordSpace aimed to perform the first commercial rocket launch from Canadian soil. For the first days during the test campaign, the weather out at the Atlantic Spaceport complex was not favorable for a launch. This facility is one of 2 Canadian spaceports and it is located at St. Lawrence, Newfoundland and Labrador. It soon became clear that Friday, the last day of the campaign, offered the required weather conditions for a launch attempt with the company's suborbital Taiga rocket. Let's go! The small, just over 5-meter tall rocket is a Pathfinder vehicle constructed as a technology demonstrator. It is powered by NordSpace's own 3D printed liquid rocket engine called the Hatfield engine. Taiga's launch day started with a delay due to a connection issue with a nitrogen tank. NordSpace said the rocket entered safe mode around that time when a generator tripped and stopped supplying compressed air. After initial tests and the rocket's tanks successfully pressurizing, an ignition issue ultimately led to a scrub. They were a mere 58 seconds away from ignition when the launch crew had to call it. Unfortunately, NordSpace's launch license expired on the last day of the launch campaign. Now it is required to go through the approval process once again. That feels wrong. According to the company, they are confident they can launch again in September. Another very much anticipated rocket program has reached a milestone over in the US, and this is one of my favorites. Rocket Lab officially opened Launch Complex 3 on Wallops Island, Virginia. This facility, located at the Mid-Atlantic Regional Spaceport, is specifically designed for the company's highly anticipated future, the reusable Neutron rocket. Neutron represents a major leap forward for Rocket Lab, capable of launching 13,000 kilograms to orbit. That is a huge increase compared to the smaller Electron rocket, which could launch a mere 300 kilograms to low Earth orbit. A giant leap forward. With its new launch vehicle, Rocket Lab aims to become a medium-lift capacity launch provider, offering services for commercial satellite constellations, national security missions, and eventually human spaceflight operations. The rocket's home base, Launch Complex 3, was constructed in less than 2 years. It is the company's 4th launch pad. The facility features a 9-meter-tall steel launch mount weighing over 700 tons. Hydraulic mechanisms are in place to support Neutron rocket launches. A quite sizable tank farm holds over 680,000 liters of liquid oxygen and liquid methane. Aside from the propellants, it also stores 170,000 liters of liquid nitrogen. The facility is topped by a 60-meter-tall water tower providing over 750,000 liters of water for the launch pad's deluge and possibly cooling. I love water towers. With 70 launches of its small Electron rocket in the books, Rocket Lab has had ample time to gather experience, and now it is ready to take the step up into the big kids' game, medium-scale launches. Yes! The FCC has already granted the required launch license, and the inaugural launch is still planned for later this year. New rockets are being prepared for launch all over the globe, and multiple Chinese contenders are also gearing up to launch into the future. China is preparing for 2 orbital-class rocket recovery attempts to still take place this year. Both CASC's Long March 12A and private company Landspace's Zhuque 3 rockets are targeting maiden flights with recovery attempts by the end of 2025. That's soon. These efforts come nearly 10 years after SpaceX's historic first orbital-class booster recovery in December 2015. That tells you how sound SpaceX's engineering was. It took them 10 years to catch up. From the looks of it, China's new and coordinated approach of combining state resources with private sector innovation is now coming to fruition. Let's have a look at these launch vehicles. Landspace's Zhuque 3 is a 77-meter-tall stainless steel rocket powered by 9 Methalux engines. The company achieved a breakthrough in its 10-kilometer vertical takeoff and landing test in September 2024. This test included a successful engine cutoff and reignition, ticking off one more item on the to-do list needed for mastering controlled landings. In June 2025, Landspace conducted its first 9-engine cluster test, generating 769 metric tons of thrust for 45 seconds. With 21 tons to orbit in expendable mode, Zhuque 3 directly challenges the capabilities of Falcon 9. So how about Long March 12A, China's state-owned aerospace corporation's entry into reusable launch vehicles? It's a 62-meter-tall rocket that is designed to deliver 12 tons of payload to low Earth orbit. It employs SpaceX-style grid fins for atmospheric control and aims for precision vertical landing. While the non-reusable variant is powered by traditional RP-1 rocket fuel, the reusable LM-12A is expected to use methane and liquid oxygen rocket engines delivered by commercial providers. In January 2025, CASC completed a 75-kilometer vertical takeoff vertical landing test on this vehicle. The results remain officially undisclosed, suggesting possible technical challenges that require further work. Both rockets aim to provide a more affordable way for China to launch payloads and achieve a launch cadence comparable to that of Falcon 9. The space industry is ramping up its efforts globally. One thing is certain: excitement is guaranteed. We know you share our passion for space, and we'll make sure you never miss a thing here at Y. That's it for today. Smash that like button, subscribe for more. This is what fuels the algorithm, and this is how you can help us for free. Check out our epic shirts in your favorite Space Nerd store. Lots of designs by me and other spaceflight artists. Link is in the description and in the card you should see now. And if you want to learn more about how AI might be the first to put a footprint on Mars, watch this video next to continue your journey. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next episode. Launch mount has hundreds of thousands. The step on up and then also all that. Or can we identify them? I'm sorry.